Our next phone caller on the line, Bob from Washington County. He has a question about joint custody. Bob, you can go ahead with your question right now.
Suppose it was joint custody and was told that both parents had share time. That's what it's called now. How would you prove if that was true? The lawyer and the parties did sign it, but how do you go by proving that was true in court?
Okay, Bob, if I understand your question, and it may need some help from Les, but if proving it is normally when you reach a settlement agreement that is filed with the court where the parties reside, or at least one of them resides, and it becomes a court order. So I would probably just go to the courthouse, see if there's an open case or there was a previous case, and see if there's indeed a court order. If there's not a court order, though, then it's really hard to enforce that. It's you know, there's not a court who is going to say, yes, you have to follow this certain order or this certain agreement. You know, sometimes people will sign agreements and they get quote unquote lost, and so that would be hard to prove. And my recommendation, if you're going to enter into a settlement agreement with the other parent, go file it with the courthouse and ask that it become a court order and a judge sign off on it.
Les, did you have anything to follow up on that? I know she did say she might need some help from you, so I just want to make sure.
That was my understanding of Bob's question as well. You know, how do you prove something like that? Really, if you want to have any sort of enforcement, you have to have the order aspect of it versus just an agreement, even a notarized agreement. It probably isn't going to suffice if you want to have some enforcement behind it, you know, from the court. So.
Erin, really quickly, Bob brought up joint custody. Can you, for those of the people who don't know what that means out there, can you just go over what joint custody means and what he's talking about there?
So like I mentioned, we don't necessarily use custody time sharing. There's majority timeshare, equal timeshare, and then minority timeshare. So timeshare is exactly that. What time is one parent going to be sharing the children or the child? Then there's also another aspect to parenting plans. It's shared parental responsibility or parental responsibility. Shared parental responsibility is probably the most common, where both parties are involved in all major decisions regarding a child. Then there's also shared parental responsibility with ultimate decision. If the two parties cannot agree as to what to do with the major decisions regarding the child, then potentially one parent could have ultimate decision. And then the third would be sole parental responsibility. I will say it has to be a detriment to the child in order for one parent not to have just as much say as the other. And that is one option that you're going to have to prove in court. What is the detriment? Why should the other parent not be involved with these major decisions?
If both parents are involved, like you said, they're both time sharing, they're both you know, equally responsible for these children, is child support even in the question? Or is there a case where you've seen, yeah, somebody still has to pay child support even though they're both time sharing and doing all of those things?
Yes, there's many cases where both parties are exercising equal time share and have the same or have shared parental responsibility, and child support is still ordered. I think most people are more familiar with the doctor and the doctor's spouse. And that's where we do the child support worksheet or look at child support. What are the incomes of the parties? And if there's a discrepancy or wide divide between the two incomes, then most likely child support is going to be ordered even if the parties are exercising 50-50 timeshare.